Hello! Today I would like to present you how I managed to fix my electric scooter that got extremely unusual problem that I never seen in my entire life, but I will tell you exactly how the symptom was, so maybe you can save a lot of time and possibly money. I've got a Ducati scooter, electric scooter battery operated, and sometimes it was powering on just fine, but other time it was not powering at all, and that was extremely hard to locate problem because how intermittent it is. So I was trying to turn it on, it do not work. I take the e-scooter apart, I press the power switch, and it's working fine. So where the problem lie? I know for a fact that there must be magic variable that is making it working or not. And the first idea that I've got that, of course, that's going to be one of the wires, and there is a lot of control wires. I was bending each of them, but never managed to replicate the problem or to fix it. Then I was trying freezer spray. I was trying to freeze the controller board and I was trying to freeze the computer, but also it do not have any effect. When system was working fine, it showed me 100% battery status and it was driving around room without any problems. But I take out the battery anyway and attach myself to those terminals, and I was reading around 40 volts, so the battery was fully charged, and I rule out this device, that element, as a problem, and I start ordering different parts like a wire control, which I tested with the multimeter, but maybe there is an intermittent problem. Then I replaced the driver board and it also didn't get any positive effect. I replaced the whole computer assembly. It also didn't have a positive effect. So I was really running out with solutions, and the only thing that lasted totally untouched was our battery. And this is actually where the problem lies. It was extremely hard to diagnose because when I was pressing the power button and the system didn't boot up, I unplug our wire, I stick up multimeter here, I was reading correct voltage, so I was like, yeah, the battery must be good, but it was wrong and I will show you why. So there was two fault, and one of that fault was inside of that BMS circuitry, and I'm pretty sure it was triggered by the physical fault, and that fault was this fuse that was burned, and it was used most likely for charging because it got a really small value. It was labeled T, and I believe it is a 5 amp, and here is a bigger fuse that is 20 amp, and I believe that one is being used for a normal output. Here you can see that we've got a proper fuse, and I had to order a replacement just like that, and it was labeled T. While you are working with system like this, absolutely never do not try to breach your fuse when you do not have a proper value. My use for those type of situation is having fuse holder like this and to solder onto PCB, and inside you are putting a glass fuse with the correct value, and in case you still got a short, then the fuse is going to be burned, but you can test it basically into soldering into any fuse. You do not even have to remove it from circuit, you just solder it into your legs, and this is the proper way to do it while you are waiting for replacement. But replacing that fuse didn't resolve our issue because it was showing all the time proper voltage on our terminal, so that was extremely weird. Then I try connect directly into our batteries, which was those terminals, and I put very high load onto it, like over 250 watts, and the voltage didn't drop, so I know for a fact that those cells are 100% fine. So I put assumption that the BMS board must be broken, and I was starting searching for replacement on the AliExpress. Since all multi-cell BMS require voltage sensing wires, I start disassembly our battery, and as you can see, I cut it apart and I start to opening it. And when I open it, let me show you something. I open it just like that. I found that one of those wires, and that wire was just disconnected. It was flopping around in that area, and that was the main issue. So the idea is that when we have absolutely no load, the BMS was passing the voltage, and on the output terminal we were reading proper voltage. But when this wire disconnect and didn't touch the battery, then the BMS was making decision to cut out the output, and basically the device was not turning on. My observation that you can use for determining whether that fuse is burned without opening the battery is that it was not reading voltage on this charging terminal. You had voltage on that terminal, but not here. So if we go into our multimeter, and when we measure the voltage here on our connector, as you can see, we are reading our full battery voltage. And that is telling me that we've got working BMS that is going to be accepting our charge. And when we are going to be probing here, we are also reading our full battery potential, and everything is good. So as you were able to see, it was extremely hard to diagnose, but we managed to locate the issue and fix our battery. And if you would be wondering, the build quality of that battery is really superb, and that's because each of those batteries that you can see here are nicely divided into plastic holder, so they never touch one to another. And here we've got our insulation, and here we've got like a mica plate, like a PCB plate without the copper, most likely a mica one, so it is really nicely protected against any like a piercing. And in my personal opinion, this battery is really good, but we had that manufacturing defect that most likely was happening after like that battery started moving, shaking, and that one wire disconnected. So yeah, it was extremely fun and simple fix when you know what to look for. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you find it interesting. See you next time, and bye bye.